Hey guys, so this is the Nice HCK DB2, a pair of hybrid in-ear monitors that are super affordable, coming in at around $23. In this episode, I'm going to tell you what are a few things that are going to make me say that yes, you can invest in these, and what are a few things that are going to make me say you can avoid it. So we'll get into that and more right after the unboxing. Alright, so the Nice HCK DB2 comes in a rather fancy packaging. We've got this waifu material here, I think that's what they call it. Sliding off the outer cover and getting inside the box, we get a whole lot of paperwork, the oxygen-free copper cable that has 2-pin connectors on one end. The version I have comes with an inline microphone with a multifunction control button and ends in an L-shaped 3.5mm audio jack. You get numerous pairs of silicone ear tips of various sizes. You get a leather pouch to carry these in-ear monitors in, and the quality of which is rather nice. And of course, you get the DB2 in-ear monitors themselves. Alright, now let's talk about the key specs of the Nice HCK DB2. So as I mentioned, these are a pair of hybrid in-ear monitors because these house both a 10mm dynamic driver as well as one balanced armature in each of the earbuds. Now the balanced armature is going to take care of your high and ultra high frequencies, while the dynamic driver is going to take care of the mid-range as well as the low end. Now these have an impedance of 16 ohms, so yes, these would be categorized as low impedance in-ear monitors, but as always I would suggest that you pair this with a portable DAC, nothing too fancy or expensive, just something that will make sure that these perform to their full potential without leaving anything in the tank, and what you get is just the best sound quality possible. And as always, I'll link the one that I personally use in the description below. Now speaking about the appearance and the build quality, well, starting off with the appearance, this is an absolute win for the DB2 because it just looks very pretty. The faceplate is something very eye-catching and it gives off a very chill but artsy vibe, which I really appreciate. Now as for the build quality, well, it doesn't feel cheap or toyish. It's got a very smooth edge, no jagged edges anywhere, very comfortable and ergonomic in my tiny ears as well. And it's got this totally transparent design where you can actually see the innards of this in-ear monitor and you can actually see the drivers packed inside, which I think is pretty cool. And if you get the version with the inline microphone built in, well, this works pretty well, as my voice was clearly audible on the other end and there was no issues at all. Alright, so with all that out of the way, let's get into the main criteria, which is the audio quality. Now you guys know, if you're an existing viewer, I judge any in-ear monitor that I review based on how it produces the 3 main frequencies that broadly make up any sound that you hear: the highs, the mids, and the lows. The highs, or the treble, where the really sharp sounding instruments are, the mids where the vocals are, and the low end or the bass response. Okay, starting off with the high frequencies or the treble response. Now, I was rather impressed by the technicalities and the detail retention by the DB2, so that was commendable. Now, although it wasn't sibilant per se, but it keeps dropping hints that it can get sibilant, especially if you push the volume or max it out. That is where it doesn't sound very pleasant or natural. So it lacks richness and natural detail. However, this was also a bit track dependent, but in general, I did notice that the highs weren't the most rich or natural sounding ones that I've heard in a while. Now, the decay was moderately smooth, acceptable. So keeping the volume at around 75 to 80% at best, I found that was the sweet spot where you get the detail, where you get all the clarity, you get the subtle nuances, which are, well, quite nicely rendered, but it's nothing to go gaga about. So the highs do a moderately okay job. Next up, we have the mid frequencies or the vocals. Now this is by far where I have my biggest gripe with the DB2, and this is its biggest weakness because male vocals especially have this added layer of sharpness and clarity where it sounds synthetic, it gets very shouty at max volumes, and it lacks the warmth and natural tonality. So it really takes away from that immersive experience, and you're constantly wondering, why does it sound so unnatural? And the same thing percolates into the stringed instruments where the strokes of guitars don't sound organic. They've got this synthetic sharpness to it, and which almost makes it sound a bit hollow. So the biggest weakness of the DB2 was obviously the mid frequencies. Now, having said that, you can mitigate this to a certain extent if you tweak the equalizer or use a really nice EQ preset. That'll probably save it to a certain degree, but it doesn't solve the problem by any means. And finally, we get to the low end or the bass response. Now, this is the saving grace because The DB2 is quite bass heavy. It also renders those rumbles of the sub lows, so that makes it very immersive. And even without any EQ preset, you're gonna get a lot of the mid bass slam, and you can also get, depending on the track, the rumble of the sub lows. So that sounded undistorted, round, punchy and thick, and I enjoyed that. Is it the best bass that I've heard? By no means. But for its price tag, the bass response is its lifesaver. So that is what I found impressive. Alright, just to summarize. So the DB2 is a good attempt. For $23, I would say it is okay. Because it's $23, I'm being a bit less harsh. So if you are getting into the realm of in-ear monitors, it's going to be your first pair. And if you're coming from a pair of cheap Truly Wireless earbuds or something that doesn't have the technicalities of in-ear monitors, all in all, for a beginner, it's okay. But if you're already in the field or in the realm of in-ear monitors and you own a couple of other budget in-ear monitors, the DB2 might not be something that is worth your money right now. So there you have it, guys. That was my unbiased and in-depth review of the Nice HCK DB2. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, do hit me up in the comments below. I'll try my best to answer them. And after watching this, if you still decide that the DB2 is the in-ear monitor that you should get, the link to this is in the description below. I would really appreciate if you use that link to make your purchase. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much for stopping by. Make sure to smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Share this video with someone who needs to see this review. And as always, I'll catch you guys very soon in the next one. Cheers.